And it says we are now live. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming in on this special live stream. Normally I do only every other weekend, but we got a good one tonight. So I want to say hello to everybody's popping in. Texas DD, you were so close to being my co-host tonight. You're so close. Chris Murphy, what's going on? D&D Auto Detailing, how are you guys doing tonight? Humberto, were you first in this party? Let me go up here and see. And Berto was first. Up, Al Daly, what's going on? MN Picker, how are you doing tonight? That's good. So tonight, we do every other Saturday, but when I sent out a bunch of requests back in, I think, March, I was planning my June, July, August. I was planning on a June, July, August. And believe it or not, every request I sent out, I did not get a no. Everybody said yeah, which was cool. Detail Spot, what's going on, my brother? He's got a great. Hey, if you guys, he's new. He does a lot of Instagram lives, but he's new onto the YouTube channel, the Detail Spot, and he does a lot of lot of great stuff over there. If you want to check him out after this and give him a subscribe, that'd be great. Appreciate it. So tonight, Rick will not be joining us tonight. His son is in the finals of their basketball game. He messaged me at halftime. They're up 39-11. I think they're doing well, I would say. And then afterwards, they're doing their Father's Day dinner tonight. What's up, Black Rhino Car Care? How you doing? Glad you made it in. Appreciate it. Let me see if I can. I went down too far. Sorry, I gotta get my other screen fixed here real quick, so I can see the messages as they go live. Because when they come onto StreamYard, they're not as fast coming in. There we go. Now I can see him going on over there. So knowing that Rick's not going to be here, and I know Eric's always late because he gets off at 6, and then I have the next best thing, and I went different this time. Instead of getting Rick, who's bald, I went and got Jamie the cleaner, who's got lots of hair. Jamie the cleaner.
I do have hair.
Welcome.
Yes, I am here.
Good
to be here, Mike. Good to be here.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
A little too high, comparing me to Rick. It's all right. My garage is about 25% of Rick's, so we're getting there.
That's all good.
Good to be here, though.
Rick's never in his garage during a live stream, anyways. He's always in his editing room.
Yeah, well, I'm not either, but I got the virtual background going because it is
I
way
do
too
see the
hot
virtual background going. I do see that.
I like to bring in some ambiance, so I like to keep it virtual at least.
Yeah,
best we can do.
Yeah, I'm in my garage only because if I was in my editing room, it's plain in the background. There ain't nothing there. I got a big old one of those fat head things for the Warriors stadium. It's that lake or something like that. I have one of them on one of my walls, but other than that, I got two 55-inch TVs on one wall and nothing behind me. So I just stream in my garage, and I got a fan sitting over there, and I got an AC unit up there.
There you go. You need to position your camera in your room with the TV behind you, and then put a background on the TV or something. Just have your videos playing.
I thought about that too. I've thought about that.
Yeah.
Put a couple things back there. That should be pretty cool.
You could do highlights.
Cool. Yeah. I'd have to get those videos that upload, which is all possible to do on this software that we use. So, if you guys don't know, Jamie is also a big TikToker. He's on YouTube. He does live streams also on Fridays, right?
Yep, we got the Cleaner Cast every Friday, 6 CST, Central Standard.
Nice. So, and
he's Mr. Duo.
Him and Alex are together tearing things up over there, which is great.
Yeah, Mike and Smurf, y'all be on the show any week now. We're working on it.
Right on. Yeah, we should do something next weekend or next Thursday. For Friday.
So. Yep.
Yeah, for the Friday live. We'll do it on Thursday.
Well, Thursday I'll be in California.
Yeah, I know.
At PNS headquarters. Okay, yeah, okay. I thought you were.
Yeah,
okay.
That's not even that far from me. It's like I
yeah.
don't know. That ain't that far.
We'll have to set up a device and do something cool.
Yeah. And I think Eric's gonna make it. He's talking about it, and he ain't that far either. He's just I'm coming east, he's coming north, or I'm coming from the east, he's coming from the north. So
yep. You two are meet and greet in the parking lot. Be there, me, Mike, Smurf.
Yeah, and then and hopefully we can get some of the PNS guys. We can get Rennie in there and Kyle and Sydney, and maybe get some of them to pop in there. I know both the guys that work there too. They're super nice guys that work in there too. They're super cool. I'm in there like I don't know, once every 2-3 weeks. I go in there and buy stuff.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, I go there a lot. Great stuff though. I do like their products. So tonight,
yep, big fan.
We have Oberk Car Care, and they're coming out with some great products lately. I don't know if you've seen Chelsea on her Attention to Detail channel. She's been using their new wheel cleaner. She's absolutely loving it.
I reviewed it as well.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you've reviewed it on your TikTok. Yep. I'm just getting new to that, so I have to get used to who's doing what and where. Because I'm starting to get into the TikTok thing, which is I'm not very good at it yet. I think what I need to do is just go edit it and then post it instead of coming right off my phone. I think is what I need to do.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah,
I go edit outside in like Premiere Rush, and then I send it to TikTok. TikTok's editing software is not good.
Yeah. All right, so tonight we got David Patterson from Oberk Car Care, and I'm going to bring him in. And I'm going to swap it to where he's there. Yeah. There it is. What's going on, Dave? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for coming in tonight with us.
Thanks for having me. It's a good opportunity. Sorry, my ambiance isn't as nice as yours. I'm in the basement. I just got.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I obviously flopped on the time, so I just got home right as I was jumping on. So I'm like,
it's all good.
It's what it is.
It's okay. So just take a few minutes and tell us about yourself and what you do at Oberk.
Yeah. So my name is Dave Patterson from Oberk Car Care. I do a lot of different stuff, but the majority of my work is product development, and but I dive into the social media and the marketing stuff too. I started detailing. I went to school for collision repair, and worked in that industry for a while. I worked for Lake Country Manufacturing for 8 years, 9 years.
Oh, wow.
8 years. And I think that's where the majority of people kind of have seen me in the past. Went full time with Oberk Car Care about a year ago, and that's kind of been my baby. So the brand itself is high. The idea of what Oberk Car Care is comes from the word Oberst, which is supreme or superior, and the idea is to use high quality products. Obviously the quality of the product has to be there, but our tagline is to remove the guesswork. And I think the basics and the basis of everything that we do is just creating a procedure or a process that makes it super easy to understand. It works really, really well. It's a quality that a professional detailer would want to use. And at the same time, if you were an enthusiast and you were kind of into the hobbyist detailing, you would get the same type of results or the success that a professional would using the product as well.
Yeah.
Like we started in paint correction, specifically because that's where my background is manufacturing polishing pads and working with abrasive companies in the past and things like that. And I always thought that it was one of the biggest things that's overlooked is just kind of a standardized process. You've seen other systems like Rupes or other people, and they've been successful with doing like a simple basic system. But most of the brands out there, you start with something, you continually expand your product line, and it becomes more and more confusing. And I, as professional detailers, you kind of forget like how difficult it was when you started, and that was kind of the idea behind everything, is just to remove the guesswork and kind of simplify the process, but still be able to get the results.
Nice.
Yep.
So earlier when you met Rick, he was getting my 10 questions ready because he does a lot of researches into who we have on. Some questions do stay the same. Some do change as per our guests as they come in. They're all pretty simple, and we'll stream through them real quick. It usually takes about 25, 30 minutes to get through these 10, and then I'll usually pull questions in out of the comments. And then at the most we go is about an hour, unless we're having a good old time and you're still up for it. Sometimes it continues on more than that, but I shoot for 1 hour. That's what I shoot for. All right, here we go. First questions. My connection to detailing stems back to?
The first time that me and my buddy waxed my car, and just kind of thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I didn't know much about car care at all. My dad passed away when I was young, so like I just didn't kind of do that stuff. I don't know. I didn't do kind of the same thing that I would maybe do with my dad. So me and my buddy waxed my car one time, and I just kind of fell in love with cleaning the car, and that's kind of where it started.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me go back to my bed. Oh, there it goes. All right. The story behind the name Oberk is?
Yeah, that's, I mean, kind of explain it there. It's based on the German word Oberst, which is, top or supreme or superior. And then we kind of tweaked it to make it a little bit more original and be able to protect our name and have something a little unique.
Is Oberk is it a American-made product or no?
So all of our products except for our polishes are manufactured in the United States. The polishes themselves are manufactured in Germany. Our abrasives are manufactured in the United States. So it's kind of a conglomeration. Or, we obviously don't manufacture in the United States, and that's where we're based. So we work with a manufacturer that works with our blend of polishes, and that's where part of the relationships that I've had in the past have kind of worked into how we've developed Oberk. Is the majority of my job prior to working with Oberk was developing product systems and buffing pads specifically. So with my previous job, a lot of that work is not just branded product, but like private label, or and I shouldn't say private label. It's like custom developed product for different brands and things like that. So that was where I kind of was able to gain more knowledge in abrasive technology, understand the differences of maybe why things were different and where they were manufactured, and kind of utilize those different resources to develop something that I thought was perfect for our system or what we kind of wanted to do.
Nice.
Yeah. Makes sense why y'all came out with the polish and compound system first.
Yeah.
In your background now from Lake Country and stuff.
And that was kind of where it was at. And it was just, the basic thing. Like, I mean, I've always loved Lake Country manufacturing. That's where I kind of got my start. And they're local to us. But, way back in the day, starting that when was that? That was, the early mid 2000s, maybe early 2000s, when Auto Geek just kind of first took off, and I had a collision repair background, so I was used to the 3M waffle pad system. Every collision repair program back then was utilizing just that that standardized system, rotary system. And as I got more into detailing, I branched out and obviously getting into dual action polishers, DA polishers, and different pads and things like that. And I remember the first time just ordering 10 different pads, mostly Lake Country stuff, but 10 different colored pads and all this different stuff, and like not really getting the results that I wanted out of it, even being like a skilled with a rotary polisher. And it was just kind of confusing. Obviously there wasn't the same type of resources there are now, but it was just a little bit difficult to kind of get in the groove of what would work for me, and already having a knowledge of something completely different.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, so let's go to. Okay, here we go. This is a good one. When I'm not busy with detailing and growing the brand, you can find me
with my family, or that's about it. I mean, I'm doing detailing stuff nonstop, and then when I'm not, I'm with my family. I mean, I spend time on my car. I'm a car enthusiast too, so I like to build cars and do car
nice.
stuff. But I try to do that with my son too. And
How old are they?
What's that?
How old are they?
I got a daughter that's 3 and my son that's 6. So he's just starting to get into some of the stuff he likes.
Starting to learn how to wrench.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. And we took him to his first drifting event last weekend. That was kind of neat. And just trying to keep him around, and hopefully he enjoys the same things that I do. But I try to keep a balance, just because I work so much that I usually try to block off. I spend time with my family and my kids every day, with kind of uninterrupted as much as possible.
Nice.
But yeah, I got a S2000 build that I've been working on I've had it for over 10 years. I've had it for 12 years. And it's been apart for 2 years. So I'm just finally getting the pieces to the puzzle to kind of finish it up and get it back on the road. So that's been my other kind of time suck. But yeah, I mean, everything I do is detailing or car related, just whether it's events or trainings or car shows or anything like that. Just kind of intertwine myself in the industry, and I think that's kind of where we've had some luck and success in growing with the brand itself, but growing with other enthusiasts. I mean, some people will call them influencers and stuff like that, but just kind of connecting with other people that are just super passionate about it and doing kind of the same thing. So it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So something you see happening in the detailing world that makes you smile.
I think the ability to find people and find resources to help you and your business grow. Maybe even find a mentor. I think the amount of growth that the industry has had in the last 10 years is hard for anybody to understand if they haven't been in it that long. So I think it's really neat that it's grown as much as it has. I mean, it's neat the fact that it makes me smile, the fact that there's so many people that don't understand that. That just means that everything we're doing, or everything that's been happening, but everything that the industry's been doing is just working, and the industry's continuing to grow, and that's awesome.
All right. So what's going on in the detailing world that makes you frown?
A lot of egos. I think there's a certain level of pride that we all have in each other, in our work and the things that we do, and but for me, pride is not a great thing, for me personally. So I wish that a lot of people in our industry would just humble themselves a little bit, just have a little bit more humility, and understand that just people come from different areas, and people aren't as stupid as how I feel like some people interact with them are, and it's unfortunate. I mean, we got training classes. We see a lot of people, and a few weekends ago, we did a really cool Glossy University class, and one of the guys that showed up, and I said, dude, I remember seeing your name in one of the Facebook groups, and people just absolutely tore your question apart. And it's just, those are the things that I find the most challenging. And just the same, the same people that don't understand how far the industry's come in 10 years because they haven't been there to see it, are the same people that are just maybe just don't understand the different paths that people take to get where they're at. So it's just it's unfortunate how people communicate with each other, but I don't think it's just the detailing world.
Definitely.
I think it's a cultural thing. You get into it in any niche group or thing these days, and whether that's the COVID stuff or the politics stuff or anything like that. But it's just something that you continue to see in things. Maybe it's just passionate enthusiast groups, like it's like car guys and detail guys, but either way, you kind of see that. And that's that kind of
thing.
Yep.
So if you could travel 10 years or so back in time, the advice I would give myself is,
I would invest in going to events and interacting with as many people as I could. I owned a business, or I owned a job. I owned a detail shop. We did all right, but I didn't invest in events like Mobile Tech or even SEMA. And SEMA's value of SEMA's give or take, but events like Mobile Tech, trainings, different things like that might have been $1,000, $2,000 pop investments. And if I would have done those things when I still had my detail shop, I may have not taken a job with like Country Manufacturing. I may have never, got to the point where I'm at. I'm probably would still own a detail shop and be making really good money and just kind of been happy with that. Luckily, I ended up in an all right spot.
Yeah.
But I think is just investing in not only the events and the trainings, but the networking. I think the amount of stuff that I've learned is so valuable, and that's one of the things. That's why when we do detailing classes like Gloss University, we'll tie it in with like Detail Wise or something like that, because I have different skills that I can share on business side because I'm successful on our other business, but in terms of like an actual detailing business, I would never try to train somebody on how to run a successful detailing business, because that's not who I am. I'm super knowledgeable on technical training, so that I'd like to teach people on the technical skills. So we partner with people that do have those skills.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's great. Okay. So for you, success looks like?
For me, success is balance with my life and being able to enjoy the fruits of our labor and share that with my family and my friends. That's a pretty good question, to be honest with you. I don't think people really think about that stuff. And Jason Otterness from Chicago Auto Pros, when he does his Detail Wise thing, when we did our first class a couple of years ago, that was the basis of his presentation was it's DOS, the definition of success. It just really made me think, I had done so many things in 10 years, 8 years, traveling all over the world, doing all these different things. But I never really defined what that success looked like, because it was all kind of like a blur, and it wasn't anything that I had kind of planned or expected. So I'd done all these great things and probably exceeded what I thought was success, 5-10 times that, but I never really defined it for myself. So I just kind of like went through all this stuff and never really got to embrace that to a certain extent. So I think defining a success is really good. That's a pretty cool question.
Thanks. So the one way the viewers can help and support you continue growth is?
If you like our products, share it with people. I think, when it comes down to it, social media influencers are social media influencers. And that's great. I mean, it's great to have people make videos. I mean, Chelsea's video is really cool. I've been super busy for a while, so I missed stuff. So I never saw her video until like last week, and it was a month late. So she obviously does more content kind of like that. But I think the biggest way that it helps us is I think people value the direct conversation where somebody says like, I use something and I really like that. And it's not like a shill, like I think people think it's and that's what I would say. The best way is just to share your experience, good and or bad, but hopefully it's a good experience. But if you like the stuff that you use from us, I mean, share it with a friend or, tell somebody about it. And we really appreciate that.
Nice.
Yep. That's, I think, what me and Mike and Chelsea and we try and do is share our experience in a very positive way. We try and stay away from the negativity, and, you hear a lot of good things about Oberk. So
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
It's definitely a brand people got to start checking out more. Ricky Colon, he's a guy who in Puerto Rico tells me about the polishing system all the time, how good it is.
Awesome.
So yeah,
That's
I've heard
awesome.
lots of great things.
Thank you.
All right. So when you have a great day, you sometimes reward yourself by.
Oh.
See,
I don't reward myself quite often.
No,
Um,
you deserve it
got a good
sometimes.
TV
though,
show, got a
yeah.
cold beer, fat steak.
Yeah. I'm a total food guy. So if anything, it'd be eating for sure. But yeah, outside of like really good food and just celebrating with some friends,
hard to beat that.
yeah,
Mhm.
I got most of the stuff that I need, essentials and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say a steak is probably a good idea. Yeah, I love beef for sure. I'm a big steak.
Yeah, this is where Eric would start talking about his Traeger.
Yeah.
How good of a cook he is with it.
Well, and I was spoiled too. Like we did a trip for the Tokyo Auto Salon right before COVID. It was January of 2020, and so we had a place that was a block from us that was A5 Wagyu, and it's a lot less expensive than it is here. So we had probably 3 or 4 nights that week, just because it was, I want to say it was like $40 with drinks with beers, and it was more than you could eat, and it spoiled me for sure.
Those are like, well, because me and my wife, that's what we get for our Christmas dinners.
Yeah,
we'll splurge and we'll get 2 nice ribeyes, the Wagyu ribeyes, and I don't know, there's usually like $150 for the 2, but fuck, they so good. They're so good.
I know.
They just melt, man. You just cut it. You just cut it it's like butter. You can use a fork and just cut the thing. It's so good.
And unfortunately, like just like detailing, that was actually kind of one of my hobbies. Like my big thing is like fish tanks, detailing and meat. So like I built a dry aging setup that I had for a while, and I was doing all these big roasts that I was dry aging, and then I got rid of that. And it's just like a lot of us in detailing, you get into something and you go like full throttle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So this last question that I have, we've asked literally every guest that's come on the show this one question, and we've had a huge variety of answers. I'm interested to see how this one's going to go with you. A recent non-detailed related purchase that's left you highly satisfied.
Car parts. I don't.
You can't go wrong with the car part because I know you're rebuilding.
Yeah, no, I decided to like half my friends make fun of me because they think that it's stupid, but I kind of had an idea for my car that I wanted to do. It was just something a little bit different. I've kind of been into 3-spoke wheels lately, like really ugly 3-spoke wheels, and I think it's like kind of one of those love-hate things where people are like, that's absolutely disgusting. But for some reason, I started like, I don't know if you've seen like 3-piece conversions for like OEM rims. Like it's becoming kind of a thing where people are taking like a factory wheel, and then they'll have the whole barrel cut off and then remade into a 3-piece wheel. So I took a set of Ford Probe wheels, 1993 Ford Probe wheels that I had cut and converted into 3-piece wheels for my S2000. So they went from a 15 inch by 6 wheel to a 18 inch by 10, and they're kind of neat. My buddy Matt kind of helped me dial in what we wanted to do, because the Ford Probe wheels were directional too, so they have right-sided wheels and left-sided wheels. They all spin the same direction. So they're kind of like almost like a spinning Ninja Star type design. So that left me kind of satisfied. I was just kind of doing something a little bit different. Cool. They turned out as I expected. They were cool.
So let me ask you a couple questions on your pads.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I bring that section on the website onto the screen?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Share screen. Why is it not working?
So what I love about Oberk is it seems to be one of these brands that really takes its time with its products.
Yeah.
Like you're starting to see that more and more with brands, and I'm really digging how long it takes y'all to come out with a product because you know that it's going to be good when Oberk drops a product.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I've been noticing with the brand.
Again, like the product quality is there. You know, it's not like
mm-hmm.
it's not like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, where there's still like good products, bad products, kind of a mix of stuff in the middle, and people were kind of shilling things. I mean, back in the forum days, I remember I hated it because I would go into the forums, read everybody's like write-ups and stuff like that. I'd end up buying a whole bunch of stuff, and half the stuff I got was like junk. And I'm like, why did I even buy this?
Yep.
So, you know, we don't necessarily have that anymore. So the product quality is got to be there, but it's also kind of understand like, well, why would we make a product? Why would somebody want to buy it? And where do we fit in the market? You know, and that's kind of the evaluation that we look at when we're developing a product. And then does it fit in kind of like what we view as our product vision for, you know, 2 years out, 3 years out, 5 years out, type of thing like that. Making sure it's something that we're going to add that's going to fit, you know, moving forward.
Mm-hmm. So I brought this on because you said you came from Lake Country.
Yep.
And how are your pads comparable to a Lake Country? Because right now, you know, I haven't used very many Lake Country pads, and I have used them. They are great.
Yeah.
Describe your pads, since you guys are, you're the pad design guy, right?
Yeah.
And the system. It seems like y'all have narrowed it down to color coded with the polish, with the compound. Love it. Love the.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
It's very straightforward.
And kind of going before we get into it, I mean, that's kind of the whole goal is like streamline the process, match the colors of the bottles to the pads. We're gonna do towels.
If I go to the compounds and polishes right here, this would be the yellow pad. This would be the red pad.
Well, it's actually the orange for the microfiber.
Okay. Oh, it's orange. Okay, I see.
It's the orange and the red, and then the yellow pad. We do the yellow or the black and yellow sole product right there. And that's kind of the one-step product. Yeah. So we just kind of dialed it down to like a 2-step process that would work for, you know, 9 out of 10 vehicles that come into the shop. So the value of it is not only like to simplify it for people that are entry-level users, but you know, being in the detail industry a long time, I think all of us are super talented technicians and detailers, and we have a really good skill, technical skill, but sometimes we kind of fail at managerial skills or entrepreneurial skills or implementing processes and stuff like that. So we just kind of have the underlying standard operating procedure built into our product line to help scale detailing business, you know, to try to create a system. All these guys, they'll have like a million different concoctions in their brain because they've been detailing a whole long time, and they know this paint's a little bit different than this and this. But that is like so unrealistic when you're trying to grow a business, unless you're just trying to be a one-man band, because you're never going to get that out of your brain and into somebody else's brain. So the whole idea is this a streamlined process, the color code and all of that stuff. Like I said, we're going to add towels to it too, just so you can, you know, match your towels to your steps, and you don't have to worry about cross-contaminating stuff or anything like that. And so we do have the profile, you know, is essentially similar to like an SDO profile for like a country pad, and then we use custom foams for that. The red foam, I don't think that is present in any Lake Country product currently. It's a product that we use exclusively for the most part. The yellow foam is very similar to the yellow foam that they offer, and it's just in a different type of profile and design. And then our microfiber is a complete custom orange foam that is not used any way either. So the products themselves are custom designed, whether it's a fabric change or a complete different foam. So they are different than what Lake Country offers currently. The wool pad on the bottom left is a custom designed product. There's one product, it's not well known because Lake Country doesn't do a lot of wool pads in the detailing industry. Most of their stuff is like industrial and different things like that. And doing research for a long time on textiles and learning how to design microfiber pads and wool pads and different things like that, I researched different materials. And one of the materials that I thought was really unique was silk. Microfiber was really popular because it worked really well for DAs. And it was kind of the wool pad for a DA, kind of if you were to compare it to like a rotary, it allowed you, the microfiber pad was the first time in the dual action industry where people realized that machine could cut as much as a rotary, relatively easily. And it kind of changed the game for heavy cutting. And part of that was the really fine strand of the fiber, and the way that it would allow abrasive load in combination with the friction of the product. But a lot of that was, the really fine microfiber. And when we started looking at raw material, silk is similar to microfiber, whereas it's a natural fiber, but it's the finest natural fiber in the world. They do make rotary pads out of microfiber, and they do work. There's some different ones on the market, but they're not super common. But one of the downfalls to microfiber is microfiber's plastic. It's not far off from paint. Microfiber's polyester, paint's polyurethane. Plastic against plastic creates a lot of friction. It creates a lot of heat. And on a rotary polisher, it can kind of create like a chattering or skipping or hopping type of a feel. So the idea was silk is going to create the same type of really fine strand and ability to have abrasive coat that and cut very heavily, but be 100% natural and create less heat on the surface due to the materials. The other thing is that silk's always been known for its cooling effects, which really it's just like it's really good at balancing heat or like just displacing heat or making it even. So that helps reduce the heat on the surface. But then throughout like material research, I found that silk is also one of the strongest materials in the world. So because it's usually made in longer strands than like a sheep or a lamb's wool. The fibers are longer. They're 100% like super sustainable. It's farming silk is super sustainable. The only downfall is the pricing of it. So for the industrial market, it never really worked and took off the way that it should have. But the detailing market is a little bit different, and detailers are willing to spend a little bit more money on a pad than maybe an industrial type of business would. So it allowed us to use a premium type of a product to create something that we felt was a little bit more unique and different. But it was from an older Lake Country design that just didn't work for the industry.
With this type of wool pad, is it okay on boats and marine life and airplanes and stuff too? Because sometimes when I do boats, and I do have a couple wool pads, but unless you were spending some good money on some wool pads, they're all garbage. They suck. But
yeah, they work.
And I look at the design of it's really good. I like the way it's threaded and everything. How long is I didn't go to see how long the naps are, but approximately how long are they?
So it is a shorter nap. So that's where it works really, really well on boats. But it depends on your style and what you like. Our biggest pad it says it's 6 inches. It's more like a 6.5 diameter. By the time that you're done with it, the pile height on them for the 5-inch and 6-inch are 1 inch.
Okay.
So it's a little shorter than some of your other ones that might be 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and stuff like that. Typically, when it comes to wool pads, the shorter the fiber, the more aggressive. So, if you're talking about like a 1 inch versus a 2 inch, the 1 inch is going to be more aggressive. 2 inch is probably going to last a little bit longer overall, but the 1 inch will be more aggressive. The biggest thing to think about when you're doing that is just if you're used to using big old traditional pads, rotating mass is such a big deal for rotary polishing, because 1,000 RPMs at 4 inches or 5 inches is nowhere near the same aggressiveness as like 8 or 9 inches. And some of those old school big wool pads can get pretty big, and they're they're still nice to use when you got a monstrous boat. So it all depends on what you're doing, but we do have a lot of people that use them on marine stuff.
Got it. So Ken's asking, is this silk from corn? Because carpets are made from corn silk that they wore a long time ago, at least.
No, this is traditional silk. It's real silk.
Okay.
Which is part of the reason why it's so expensive. Although corn silk might be something to look into, but I'm not too familiar with that. But I would hope that if it's coming from corn, it'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So the one thing I do like about when I'm looking at your website, it's pretty simple. When you if you need a compound, it's cut. If you need a polish, it says polish. They don't come out with some name to say it's something just to realize that's the compound or whatever. It's just plain and simple. Yep. I do like that. A wheel cleaner. It's a wheel cleaner. That's what it says. Where some company has to come up with some fancy name to say it's a wheel cleaner. And
it's like it's indirect stuff too. Like the reason why Soul is black is just so that people don't understand that it's part of the two-step system. It's its own item. It's still yellow, so it matches the yellow, but the bottle's black. Yep. So you're not like, the natural tension is if it was in a shop with guys that might not know as much as you, they're going to know the black bottle doesn't belong with the white bottles, so they're going to know that it's not part of that system or what they're supposed to do. And just little things like that to try to think about every little aspect that we can add value into either the entry-level enthusiast or detailer or the detailer that's really good, that's trying to grow his business.
I'm a fan of microfiber pads.
Yep.
And is your cutting pad, does it only come as a microfiber?
Yeah, we don't have a cutting foam pad. Okay. I think there's value for it in certain scenarios, but for the most part, I think most detailers, especially in the United States, are using microfiber to cut for most things. If not, they're using a knitted wool or a micro wool or something like that. There's some value to aggressive foam pads. I don't use them a lot, and I try to, the system comes from what I like, along with what I think other people will like too. But we're not going to develop something that I don't think that I would use unless there's just a huge market of people that are not like me. And I just think that microfiber can cut as good or better than any foam pad out on the market, and it typically can leave as good of a finish.
Mm-hmm. So with you coming up with microfiber for cutting, are you guys going to come up with a microfiber for polishing?
I haven't really thought about that. If anything, we were looking at maybe I think the only thing where we're really missing where we couldn't accomplish something is a knitted like a DA wool pad. I think there's, being a paint guy like I am, there are certain paints, the goal for us is to streamline the process and not confuse it. There are certain paints that don't perform with microfiber or foam. Like let's just say, some of the, like the Buick Grand Nationals, they have like bumper caps on the front, things like that. They're painted a little bit differently. They just don't really polish well with microfiber. The polish will stick to the paint. It gets really hazy. It doesn't look right. And you you use a wool pad on it, and it's like a night and day difference. There's just certain things where microfiber doesn't work as well. Some of the older paints, and sometimes some of those micro wool pads can finish out pretty good too for like one-step polishing. So, if anything, I think we would look at a wool pad that would be kind of in that range where it's like Rupes does the yellow wool, like a burgundy type of a wool type thing, Lake Country low lint wool, something like that, where it's similar in style to that. I think that's where our gap is.
What's this here? I see the defense gel. What is that?
Yeah,
defense gel.
we've been out of stock on that for a while because it's we've been having
Yep, it went out of stock for a while.
So the original
Oh,
product,
is it back out of stock?
hopefully it comes back in. Yeah. It's a silica sealant, so it's similar to like a SiO2 topper spray, but it's different in terms of it's a oil or solvent based carrier versus a water based spray. It's a short term product, 6 months, but it's 3 to 6 months, but it's super slick, super glossy. It's great for track cars because it's easy to install. You got to be stupid to get a high spot. You literally can't get high spots with it. It's just really, really easy to use. And it looks good. And that was the goal for it is to do that. It has really good hydrophobics on it, but because it's a solvent or oil-based carrier, it's more of a sheeting product. So we did a lot of testing on it. It totally lasts. It lasts more than 6 months, but it does cut off.
It's like a dummy-proof entry-level coating, kind of.
Yeah. And so it's like, I would say it's like a wipe-on silica spray sealant. Essentially, is what it is. And I think it'll make more sense once we get some of our future products out where they kind of complement that and are able to boost the hydrophobics for it and kind of utilize it in a process where it's easy maintenance and it all kind of ties together.
I get people asking about it all the time if I've used it yet. Detailers that have used it and tell me, man, you've got to check out this defense gel. They love it. I love how buttery smooth it is. They always say it seems like. I have a bottle. It moves around my garage because I think I just need to throw a sprayer on it and get to using it. But I have a bottle. I need to check it out.
Yeah, sure. I use like it on an applicator and stuff like that. And at first, I didn't know if there was really a place for it because I think a lot of people just like a spray on wipe off type of a thing, and we kind of looked at the hand application as kind of a downfall to it, and tried to figure out how do you communicate with it where you don't have to do this methodical thing like a coating. You just you whip it on like wax or seal and you wipe it off, that type of a thing. But as we're, kind of developing it and stuff like that, the one thing I hate about water-based sealants is that they streak really bad. Most of them streak. Yeah. They can be finicky depending on the weather and things like that. Where that oil-based carrier it dissolves any. You don't have that at all. And
nice. That's good info to know.
Yeah. So when we were doing it, I kept, as much as I didn't know I didn't think it was like a product that I thought we needed to have. Every time I was doing cars, whether it was like a inexpensive one-step polish or maybe topping off an old coating, I kept going back and grabbing it, and that was kind of the deciding factor. I'm like, I don't, even though I think that people might not like that aspect of it, I keep going back to grab it. So I think it should be part of our line, and hopefully people will just get the hang of it or see the ease of use or give it a shot and give it a try once. But we've been out of stock on it more than we've been in stock on it.
And you've got the new tire cleaner, which is a very interesting product I've been looking at. It's been in my Car Supplies warehouse cart for months since it came out pretty much. And I just can't get around to ordering it, but I'm definitely going to check it out sooner or later. So it's one of these cleaners that can be used as a waterless product. So how is that possible? I see people use it. There's a couple of them out now, and Oberk's is one of them. But you see, if you use it to clean the tire, they wipe it off, and it looks almost dressed. It's so clean. What's up with this tire cleaner?
It's just essentially it's an all-purpose cleaner. That's the basis of it, where it started, and then we tweaked it to just work really well for specifically tire application. I mean, it works killer for rubber floor mats, like the WeatherTech floor mats, plastic floor mats. It works good on engine bays. Works good on wheel wells. It's slightly alkaline. It's like a pH 9. I've never had it damage anything, so it's relatively safe, but it works really well. It's not like another APC where you spray it on the tire starts leaching the brown stuff, but then you rinse it and it looks brown again. It does really work. And then the wipe on stuff is just, it works. You spray it on, just wipe it off, or spray it on, scrub it, wipe it off. I mean, it's not going to be the greatest for real knobby tires or a lot of tires with texture to them, because you just have to try to get that material off there. But but even then, it's not super alkaline or anything where it's going to spit off and damage the paint at all.
So
Nice.
Matt Duffy is asking a question: is there anything new in the pipelines?
Yeah, we got a few different products, but I'll give you kind of a lowdown on one of them. It's a soap that we're coming out with. It's called AllPurpose Soap. It is 100% plant-based, so that's kind of neat, and it works. We call it all-purpose soap because you can, 50-50 it in a foamer and use it for a bug remover. You can also use it in a foam cannon or traditional wash, and it is also a stripping soap, so it's not like a pH neutral soap. It does have good cleaning power. It's not strong where it's going to damage anything or affect a coating, so it works really, really good for maintenance washing too. But it's a great prep soap for doing paint corrections, and it's kind of neat that it's 100% biodegradable and all plant-based.
That's a good question.
And so Ricky is asking, is there any use in stacking a defense gel?
Yeah, so we did have actually considerable difference in performance when stacking, 2 or even 3 layers of defense gel. But as we come out with a couple new products, you'll see that we'll also have like a spray on rinse off sealant that is different type of silica in a water carrier that will be more of the hydrophobic that will kind of replenish that defense gel sheeting, and that layers too, actually, which is kind of neat. As we've tested it month over month, like it almost feels like I do it regular on my maintenance washes. I almost use it like a drying aid, and you can continue to see the slickness get more and more.
I was going to pop something on the screen again real quick because I saw something here. I saw this. If anybody's considering trying Oberk Car Care, this little deal that they have right here for $55, dude, that's a pretty good deal because their pads alone are $9 each. There's $36 in pads, and for just under 20 more bucks, you're gonna get 2 16-ounce bottles of one cut, one polish for $55. I was just scrolling through the site and I saw that, and I'm like, wow, that's a pretty damn good deal. I got to share that real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And there's a couple kits at Car Supplies Warehouse. They got some pretty good kits too with some Oberk stuff. That's actually where I tried the wheel cleaner. So I got the work stuff, like a wheel mitt and a little work stuff brush.
I just tried it for the first time the other day when I was down there for a wash video with Jason, and it was pretty cool. We did the Oberk wheel cleaner and tire cleaner. It was the first time I got a chance to use it.
So I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'm gonna leave you alone. A lot of the polishes require a panel prep afterwards for application of a coating. Very few do not require that. Does your polish require a panel prep before a coating or a wax or anything like that?
Yeah, it does. It's not. It doesn't have a ton of fillers, but you're always. It's not like a ceramic based polish, so you do want a panel wipe prior to doing it. So I didn't mean to get distracted. Sorry, my wife keeps messaging me.
Okay.
I was ignoring it for the future.
If I saw my wife, I'd be distracted too.
Yeah, she was obviously interested in getting a hold of me.
All right. So if anybody has any questions, then pop them in now because Dave's wife wants him to come tuck her in.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Like a good viral TikTok video for you. I took the Oberk wheel cleaner and I went to spray it on the wheel, but I stopped and I brought in a clay towel, sprayed it on my clay towel, and started claying the paint. Boy, TikTok love that.
Really? I'm gonna have to check that out, man. Make sure I follow you. I try to keep up on stuff, but I've been in this spurt for like the last month where it was nonstop. We went, we were out in California with G Technic, and then we had the Gloss University the week after that, and then I had been pushing off. I still take care of a couple customers that do hot rods and some different style cars and stuff like that, and I've been pushing them off for weeks. So I had scheduled them after all of this stuff, and it just kind of streamlined together into this month of like blur. So I've been in and out of social media, not as much as I should be. So I appreciate you doing that, man. I can't wait to check it out.
No problem.
Got a TikTok review of it, a YouTube review. I mean, I love the wheel cleaner. It was just
Thank
fantastic.
you so much, dude.
So good. I think we actually listed the top 10 products of this year when me and Dee were on my cast, and that's the number one wheel cleaner on my list.
That's
Iron
cool.
Decon. Yeah, good stuff. Everybody go check it out.
And that's over what you normally make from another company. Because I know how you blend something else also.
Yeah,
you like it more than that, huh?
So if your iron removers basically still stink, it's time to upgrade. You know, an Oberk's wheel cleaner actually smells pretty good.
Wow.
Or has reduced smell at least.
Yeah.
So I think a new age iron remover, the smell level, you know, is either at a smell at least somewhat good or it has a reduced smell to it. It's got to be, you know, it's more jelly. Like if your iron removers are still too runny, it's time to upgrade. Companies are figuring it out big time on the iron removers.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So I want to say, Jamie, thank you for coming on and helping me co-host tonight. I do appreciate it.
Can't believe Smurf didn't make it.
I know. Well, his commute, it's approximately 25 minutes, but it can be over an hour.
Yeah.
Depending.
Yeah, in California. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes past an amusement park also. We do have a Six Flags. He does have to pass a Six Flags going home.
Catch some crowds.
So that can be challenging as well.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking forward to seeing you both.
Also coming on, Dave.
Next weekend.
Dude, no, thank you for having me, man. It was a great opportunity, and it's fun to chat with you guys.
Yes, I do appreciate you taking the time and coming on with us. And next Saturday, I will be doing another live, and then we'll be back to my every other Saturday. And the reason why I squeezed one in because I literally asked, I needed to fill like 10 weeks or something like that. And I asked 12 people, 11 of them replied back and said yes. I'm like, well, shit. I got Phil and Dave was when he replied, I already had my other 10 spots filled. I'm like, okay, I got to fill them in. Let's see, what days can I do another one in between? And this is the one we put in.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
Yeah, because normally when I go out and I ask 12 people to fill 10 spots, 7 or 8 will say yes. Some of them won't even respond. And I'm like, well, I've asked a lot of people. And then I was kind of surprised that I actually had a lot of responses. And then everyone was saying, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. I thought for sure I'd be getting, oh, no, we're too busy. I don't have time for that. And we're going to be doing that. And it wasn't the case.
That tells you you're getting somewhere, Mike. You becoming somebody.
No, I'm not.
Come on now.
So
blowing up
I'll have the links to Oberk's Instagram, YouTube, and their website. And there'll be links to Car Supply Warehouse, all in the comments. Once the stream's over, it'll be there. It's there. It's just when the stream's over, then you can see everything in the description. So if you guys do want to try it out, click any of them 3 links. Go follow them on Instagram. Go follow them on YouTube. Go to their website. Go to Chicago Auto Pros.
Car Supplies Warehouse.
Car Supplies Warehouse. That actually, if you do that, it helps support the channel. And we appreciate it, Dave.
Thank you. I appreciate it too.
All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream, and then we'll just be backstage for a few minutes, and we'll let you roll, and then we'll just let everybody else go. And then we'll see you guys next Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.